Hi everyone, Skypack here for the franchise tag with Samuel Oram-Jones, also known as OJ.
OJ, it's a pleasure to be here.
How you doing, mate?
You know what? I'm having a great time. It's been a hell of a week here on Radio Row. It's been crazy. You know how it's been.
Yeah.
Running around, it's a whole ordeal.
It's a big thing, and nice to meet fellow Brits.
Right? You'd be surprised at how many there are here.
I think we've taken over this week.
You know, we might be taking over in general. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we do.
And everyone yesterday was saying I was the best dressed person here but I don't have the blazer on today. But I think you've taken that. I did say to you off air, I'm not a bucket hat guy, but this is.
You've seen too many guys at Glastonbury wearing the bucket hats, and you've gone off of it.
Too many West London boys thinking they're cool.
Yeah, there you go. I wish I'd made it, but yesterday David Njoku had a crazy fit on where he was just walking around topless, basically, in the middle of here, and I think he takes the cake for me.
I did see someone topless. It was David Njoku.
Yeah, if he looked 6'7" and like 260 pounds and topless with like six-pack abs, it was David Njoku.
He's pretty noticeable, isn't he?
He's a guy. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Just in terms of the Super Bowl this week, we'll start with yourself.
Of course.
You're well travelled in terms of playing the game.
I've played the game in a few different places. Durham University is where I started. Latest game was in Japan, pro in Japan in the X League this last season. Yeah. Before that, ELF. Went out and did the whole CFL Combine thing, the CFL experience. Got to do the whole pro day process, all the combine process stuff in the US and playing at USC and being at Vanderbilt. So yeah, I've been to a few different spots and I've done some indoor as well. I've done a whole bunch. I was in Texas actually, now I think about it, doing some indoor literally nearly a year ago now.
I went to Texas for the first time last year. It's pretty good.
What do you think about it? Everything's bigger there?
I just mean I was a bit worse for wear after a Canelo fight.
Yeah, okay.
And I went to watch the Cowboys-Patriots, and the Patriots got destroyed.
Yeah, that's as they should.
But it was good. It was good. Yeah, I loved
it was probably a great time. It was probably a really great time.
What was the combine like?
Oh my god! The CFL combine, I'll tell you, that was cold. Okay, so there was a bunch of guys now that play in the ELF, play in Europe, and the big one was Maseo Beard. He just got signed to the NFL IPP. Yeah. He was there in my class for the combine, and we'd worked out in Toronto in this big dome. But the heating didn't work on the day. For whatever reason, at the University of Toronto, the heating didn't work. And so it was like -3 degrees. Everyone's trying to do their warm-ups. Everyone's like doubled down on all of their tracksuits and taking it off just as they get up to the line trying to stay warm. So the process was very cold, but it was excellently run. The whole thing was really, really
when you're interviewing for teams, they're like, how do you overcome adversity? That's the one.
You told them that. You'd be surprised. The interviews for teams were a really important part of that process. Yeah. People don't really talk about it, but the way the CFL had it would be, especially for the international guys, you'd be sat in a room like this and 16, 17
like
different guys. It's like an interrogation. Yeah. 2 or 3 representatives from each team would be there, and they were asking you really deep questions. You know, why are you playing football? Why do you do this? Why do you do anything? How's life with your family? You'd be really surprised. Yeah. They wanted to get into it and to make their evaluations of people as well as players, and they do a great job. It was a fantastic experience.
How did Japan come about? Because I know we spoke about it yesterday, but obviously before we agreed to come on.
It came about through a teammate and some connects in Japan. It's weird that there's a guy called Gino Gordon, and he used to play in Japan. He's like Fujitsu's MVP 10 times over. He's like the Hall of Famer of Japan football. And weirdly enough, he played at Harvard University with a guy called Saito Smith, who's now a coach in Division I college football. And he just won his first Ivy League championship, I believe. So Saito, good job. And Saito was my mentor at Durham University when I had started playing football.
That's a small world.
It's a crazy small world. I think the thing you see in football is you're only 1 or 2 people away from everyone else in the space.
Yeah.
Every player, every agent, every coach, you're only ever 1 or 2 guys away, especially from years prior. It's quite absurd.
They always talk about trees, don't they, in terms of like coaching trees and this and that. It just goes to show the deep-lying connections, how rooted.
Really is. Yeah. It's so deep-rooted, and it really is exactly like that, even with players. Players know other players. Oh, you played with this team together, and so on and so forth. It's crazy how connected it is.
I know it's a cliche question, but I ask everyone here: what is the sort of goal for 2025? For the
goal for 2025. We all have our own personal goals. I want to continue playing professionally, and I think I've been really unfortunate. I haven't had the opportunity to play on a team that was really ready to be elevated to a high level so far. I mean, I was in the ELF and I came about during a time where the team was having some struggles, and we did a really, really fantastic job. The coaching staff did a fantastic job at pulling everything together and building the basis for a successful season. And then in Japan, same deal again. But I think it's really time for me to get myself onto a team, especially at the professional level, that's ready to win right now and to show the talent I have on the field with a team that's going to be successful and even more successful with me on the field.
What about even Olympics? Everyone talks about flag,
so everyone's talking about flag, so that's the big thing right now. What's it going to be for flag football? For me, I'm going to be involved in that flag football team in any way, shape, or form that I can. You know, I think it's really, really important for how they're growing the game, especially for women. On the women's side of sport, it's going to be really, really big. BAFA are doing a fantastic job of pulling resources together at the moment, and you know, I'm really looking forward to trying to be part of that resource pool, especially with all of the coaching, strength and conditioning, player connections that I have in the US. And I know a few guys from the United States that I played with in college that would play for the US, but they might just happen to have some British heritage too. And so maybe I can do some recruitment too and get some boys over, especially, I mean, I'm talking about one receiver in particular I played with at USC, and he's just transferred to Penn State. He's a great guy, you know, he has some British heritage. Might be time for him to come play for the United Kingdom.
Recruitment's my day job, so if you need some this is it. You're going to be on the team, and I'll be doing the recruitment. I'll do it. There we are. I'll do it. Yeah, and then we'll get the golds.
We'll bring
the gold in LA.
It's coming home.
Someone else. Well, I've been joking that England are going to win the World Cup.
It's coming home.
US soil.
It has to come home.
So that's double whammy.
They'll never hear the end of it. They'll never hear the end of it if we do.
The other thing I have to ask about, which you told me, is being part of the McLaren Junior driving program.
So the majority of my life, I've only been playing football for like 7 years, but I was a racing driver for 10. So that was like, it was really my bread and butter for when I was a young child, and I came up, I had a really particularly difficult class of guys specifically around me.
So
my teammates are, you know, at one point in time when I drove for the Intrepid driver program, the team lineup was me, Robert Schwartzman, who's just signed in IndyCar for Prima Power Team, George Russell, Mercedes, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari, Max Verstappen, Red Bull, Lance Stroll, Aston Martin, Nikita Mazepin was also there, he was a competitor, Yuki Tsunoda was a competitor, Lando Norris, McLaren, and Alex Albon, Williams. Oh my god, the list goes on. Oh my god, the whole grid, and all of the reserve drivers too. So it was a particularly tough field in my specific age range. And you know, I competed at the top level in the world for a really long time, and when I got to 18, it became time to move on and work on education for business stuff in the future. And I couldn't let go of sport, and so I ended up taking on football. Like, you wouldn't believe it, I had like a university fair on a whim, and the guys just pulled me over and said, you should play football. And then the next year I scored the game-winning touchdown in the national championship game, and then I ended up at Vanderbilt and then USC, and then now here I am today on Radio Row at the NFL Super Bowl with you.
These are the stories we want to hear.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. This is so cool. What is the biggest transferable skill between... I feel like I have an answer in my head.
Between motorsports and football. That's a good thing. So I did a bunch of mental training for a long time when I was on the McLaren driver program, or the MTP program, down in Woking, which is where the McLaren Technology Academy is. And the biggest transferable skill I learned from that is how to deal with fast-moving objects around you and using your peripheral vision to navigate spaces with all of these objects moving around you. And in football, I really thought about it. Like, it's really the same thing. I take my racing lines from football, from motorsports, take my racing lines from motorsports, and put it in football and think, okay, well, that's how I got to set up my blocks. Because that's how I would set up a driver on the track. You know, if I'm coming up to the hairpin and he's defending, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to show you a bit this way to put you on this line.
I'm loving these comparisons.
I'm going to put you on this line, bring you over here on the dirt where you don't want to be, and then I'll come out wide and cut back on you. It's the same deal when I'm in the backfield, I'm running zone, and I'm setting up my blocks, and I'm delivering my linebackers to their landmarks. So you'd be surprised at how much transferable skill there is. The biggest difference, obviously, had to put on a lot of weight when it came to football. I got to Durham University. I was... we do kilograms in the UK, so I was like 73 kilograms. I used to do a bunch of, I think, when I did racing, to stay in shape, I did the British Triathlon for the independent schools in the UK, and I came third senior male, so I was like seriously long distance, slim runner type.
Trim.
Everyone does it. Mark Webber used to go cycling in the woods just by my house in Brick Hill. So like everyone in that space is doing all that. And then I got to Durham University. I got hit by a linebacker when I was playing Sterling University in my first game where I scored my first touchdown. And I remember laying on my back and thinking, oh my God, I need to put on some weight. Like, being fast isn't going to cut it. Like, I need to be way heavier. And I gained like 15 kilograms in my first year of playing. It was absolutely absurd. So that was the biggest difference. But the biggest transferable skill for sure. Lining things up, using that peripheral vision that you would use.
I was thinking reaction, so it's
being used to objects moving around you very fast and navigating those objects. And really, with motorsport and with football, it's the same deal.
Because we've even seen that video. Was it Tyreek Hill and someone, maybe Pierre Gasly?
Yes, doing the drop test. We used to do it every single day.
And the levels of like Gasly, the comparison.
We used to do it every single day. The way that it works in F1, you get used to the car, or when I was in F3 or in F4, Formula Renault, BMW, you get used to the car and everything slows down for you. because you're so used to it and it's easy for you now. And guys like Aaron Rodgers, standing in the backfield, when he talks about how he analyzes defenses, the game slows down for him.
Yeah.
It's easy for him, and Patrick Mahomes does it now, and Jalen Hurts looks like he kind of getting into that role too. The game's slowing down for him. It's becoming easier.
It's playoffs. You've given me the perfect segue there in terms of the Super Bowl for Sunday.
Oh man, don't ask me what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Look, this is what's going to happen. Kendrick going to come out and perform Not Like Us like 10 times. The Eagles, who are the better team.
I'm excited for that out of everything. More than anything.
The Eagles, I'm Team Drake, by the way. So I'm Team Drake all day. Shout out. Look,
I'm Team Kendrick.
You remember Summer 16? I'll never forget Summer 16.
I mean, I did see Drake at Hyde Park in like 2013 for Wireless.
I'll never forget it. I'm right.
Take Care was crazy. That was a good album.
It was crazy. I remember Views. It was crazy. I'm standing by him. But this is what's going to happen. The Eagles are going to be the better team, as per usual. They're going to go up. They're going to be up like one score, and in the fourth quarter, guess what's going to happen? Patrick Mahomes is going to march down the field, going to win the game, and the Eagles are not going to be able to do anything about it. And then Travis Kelce going to go on the field. Taylor Swift going to be there. She's going to be getting all the screen time.
Well, the proposal.
Maybe the proposal. The Swifties would love it, although they're kind of mad at Travis right now for several reasons. You can read online.
I need to read that. I've had my people messaging me going, "Oh, you saw Taylor's boyfriend." I'm like, "Oh."
Some people aren't happy about it, but I'm not going to talk on my.
So you're saying Chiefs to win? Okay.
I think Chiefs to win. The Eagles, though, for reference, are the better team. Go Birds. I hope the Eagles win, but I've got the Chiefs winning this time around.
I'm going to Eagles as well, but yeah, that's well, we'll see what happens.
We're gonna find out one way or another. It's going to be a really great game, and I'll tell you what, the crowd scene here is going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely
I think
insane.
If Philly win,
there's going to be a riot. I mean, there's going to be a riot regardless, but there's going to be
Minnesota.
If Philadelphia win the Super Bowl, then it's Gotham over there, basically. That's what's happening if they win.
It'll be New Gotham.
It's going to be Gotham, basically. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's going to be a whole ordeal. It's going to be really, really cool.
Okay. OJ, appreciate it.
No, it's been my pleasure. You guys are really doing your thing this week, and keep pushing the game in the UK. I think it's growing at an international level massively. Flag is going to be a huge part of that.
And Dublin today announced.
The Steelers and the Bills. Is that correct?
The Steelers just for now.
Okay.
There are a list of 9 opponents.
Cut that out. Okay. No. There's a word on the street.
It has been talked about. The Bills are one of the rumored teams, along with the Bengals and the Packers.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out.
They are the three
Steelers
that will be between.
But
you never know.
You never know. You never find out.
Also curveball us like we get for some of the other games. Patriots were supposed to come last year and they did.
This is a very good point. This is a really good point. Well, thank you for having me. You guys keep doing your thing, because you guys are growing the game at an international level in the international space, because it's all through social media. And guys like me that play.
We hope you get the chance that you spoke about as well, man.
I hope so. Look, if anyone's out there that needs the international guy, NFL IPP, please hit me up. I know it's been a few years.
And you've got all your famous contacts as well.
I've got all the contacts in the
McLaren
NFL.
I can bring along for the photo day.
I can bring players. I can bring coaches. Whatever you guys need, I'm there. Hopefully the NFL IPP rings my line at some point, and I'll be right there.
I appreciate it, mate.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you ever so much.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.